Jesse. It's girl time.
How is everybody doing today?
Girl talk.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm so excited to you two are foundational to my emotional, my financial, my everything development. I am just so excited to have you two here. Thank you guys so much.
Well, right
Thank
back
you,
Carlin.
So
we've definitely had more than one occasion when we had to share a lot. So always a pleasure. Always.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see if I cry at all today.
No, you're not. Come on now.
Everybody needs to be
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose. If I would hope it's never on purpose, but my gosh, when you two make me cry, it is always so relieving. It feels so good to have you two in my support system, and I'm so grateful for you two.
Oh, thank you.
And right back at you.
You too. Yeah.
And I love being here with Agnes today. This is the first time that we've ever been on a show together. So happy about that.
I know, right? I was like, I know her name. I can't put the face to the name. So now I'm glad that we finally got to put the face to the name.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's awesome. Yes.
I was just thinking about it. It's like, okay, I have Angel, I have Agnes, I have a podcast. Let's smash them all together.
Double A, double threat today.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Pam. Glad to have you guys here. Love all the ladies. This is not just a ladies only show. I just want to preface with that. But we are glad to have all the ladies here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do have our own struggles that we deal with. So,
especially in business.
Yes. Yes.
Especially in business.
I think that's a great starting point. I really do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that?
So everybody has struggles in business, right? Whether you're starting, whether you're in the middle, whether you're at the end, there's always the glass ceiling that you're going to hit at some point, right? Now, for women, that glass ceiling becomes closer than it is for men. Because, for men, like we were saying, they can go to the gym and they do a few reps, chest press, take off their shirt, selfies with their shirts off. And it's like a sausage testosterone fest. And it's like, whoa, let's go to the next adventure. And we are the kids, the husband, the job, if you're juggling a 9-to-5, the business, and the hormones, because we are either in our fucking period or we are perimenopause or we are flat out having hot flashes with the full-blown menopause. So we have to deal with all of that. Not saying that the guys don't have their challenges, but we know we have that extra stuff that is expected of us, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I was talking to Carlin about this yesterday, where we have to develop the entrepreneurial nervous system. And so what I mean by that is that we can get stuck in a loop of, well, I'm still learning. I feel like I have to take this additional course, this additional strategy, this additional something. Okay. Like, okay, now I'm direct to seller. Well, no, now I want to raise capital. Well, no, now I want to do multifamily. You know what I mean? And so we're like all over the place. And so oftentimes we can get stuck learning, or we can get stuck, well, I'm going to work under this team because I have to practice. So I'm in the OJT, on the job training kind of a thing. But when is the entrepreneur going to take the steering wheel and tell the student and the OJT trainer, move the fuck out, I'm in charge? Because the student don't give a fuck about making money. The OJT trainer could give a fuck about making money because they're like, well, I don't think I know enough. I don't think I'm prepared. I don't think I know this well enough. and we get stuck on the not enoughness of things, right? So when is the entrepreneur going to say, both of you get on the passenger side, get on in the back, take a motherfucking ticket, I'm in charge. We're making money. We need to make money, right? And as entrepreneurs, that's our purpose, is it not?
It is.
Yeah, we want to help other people. We want to make the world better, and we want to make money. Because unfortunately, this is the world we live in, and this is a material world. This is how we live, and it's an exchange of energy. And money is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is energy. Now, on the subject of money, we're here to make money. We're here to learn. We're here to connect with others. We're here to learn from each other. We're here to network. And on my end, I have to say, these are silver bars. This is money. These are gold coins. I love money, and money loves me.
Oh, yeah.
Now, all of these, I have buckets of silver coins and gold coins, right? These are all ounces. This is the biggest one. I want to know, when I just did that, what did you felt?
Excited.
What did you thought?
Damn, that's a lot of silver.
Was it, oh, what a bitch showing off?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, she's flashy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, what the fuck was that about?
No.
She loves money. Like, we're not supposed to love money. We're spiritual beings.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of those are money blocks. When we are entrepreneurs and we say we want to make money, but you see someone doing what I just did, and you're like, maybe you might have not thought about it, anything, or felt anything, but you were like, the fuck. And when you do the fuck, it's kind of like, ew, that's disgusting. And so what I want to let you know is that as entrepreneurs, we said we want to make money. But when we see people like that flashing, you're like, ew, I don't ever want to be like that if I ever have money or when I have money. Guess what? That's your unconscious programming.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your blocks. And that is when you realize that you could say at a conscious level, yeah, I want money, but unconsciously, no, you don't. Because if you saw me doing the exact same thing with my granddaughter, I love you, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, you wouldn't have the same type of judgment. You'd be like, oh my gosh, she's the best grandmother. Oh my gosh, she loved her grandbaby. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's how our unconscious programming works. And oftentimes we work towards something, but honestly, we're not making any move because those are blind spots that we have that we didn't know we have. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I want to make money. I'm working on my money, but I don't know that unconsciously I'm being a judgmental asshole because someone is flashing, because someone is showing off, because what was that about?
Well, everybody's money journey is different, right?
Yeah.
There's also the other thing that pops into my head is there's also like this stigma where if you get flashy with your money, then you're showing off, you're bragging, you're being self-centered, you're being prim and proper, and whoa, you shouldn't be bragging about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and all of those are unconscious programming. Because if you put pictures of your kids and your grandkids, is it the same? Is the thoughts and feelings the same?
If you're looking through social media, like you see those posts where it's like, oh, I just made $50,000. And then your brain goes, how the fuck did they do that? How'd they get 50K? What did they do?
Mm-hmm.
But you see a picture of someone's grandkids or like a picture of my bees or something. You're, oh, that's so cute. That's so beautiful. They're so adorable.
That's how much we've been conditioning.
Absolutely.
We've been programmed. And we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, I truly believe anything that you spend, you put it out into the universe and hope of a return. I don't care if it's McDonald's. You go to McDonald's and spend $10. When you hand over that 10, expect back 20.
Yeah.
And I've done that. I truly believe in manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived off what I've manifested, so to speak. I haven't had a W-2 in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Every month, my bills are paid. God, thank God. I truly believe that every time you spend something, even if it's on a bill, you expect it to come back twice as much.
Yeah, because everything is
even when I'm down to 20 cents in my bank account, I know it's going to find me. I don't know when it's going to find me, but it'll find me and everything will be fine. Yeah. And it is.
But because everything is energy. It's an energy exchange. You know what I mean? You know how sometimes you go into a room and you're like, ooh, something doesn't feel right. The tension can be cut with a knife. All of that is energy that we're picking up from other people, other circumstances and situations. And whether we are aware of it or not, I don't know, that's on you. But whether you want to acknowledge that or not acknowledge that, you're in the game. And you either play or get played.
That's true. I did want to circle back to what you had said or talking earlier about women in their entrepreneurial journey. And because it really resonated with me personally. You've got women do tend to do exactly what you said. And it's that I think just inherently are learners. You learn how to do so many things, and not that men aren't. I want to preface with that. Not that men aren't, but it's really a much more intense, continuous journey for us as we raise children and things like that. We tend to get where we have to do this before we're good at something. A lot of men can generally just jump into something and learn as they go. Oftentimes women take the other approach, and it's, I've got to learn this before I go.
Yeah.
And that was a big stopping point for me. I thought I had to know a lot of things before I could hop in there and actually, take care of business and get the job done. And it's just totally not the truth, So I don't know, this is a hard one, but for me, you just have to, I know Jesse says this a lot, but you do just have to put the blinders on, figure out what it is that you want to do. If you want it to, be an acquisitionist, you want to do whatever, just put it on and jump in there and do it. Wreak havoc, make a mess of things. Everything's a learning lesson, right? But I see a lot of women, and as I coach more women, that's really what it is. They really get stuck in the minutia of, I've got to learn this first. Oh, well, I probably need to learn this to be able to do this. Or maybe I'm a better fit for this. So they start to question, because maybe they're not making the traction they thought they were going to immediately start making. And one thing, they're not good at it, so let me try this. And that's just not true. Nobody jumps into anything and they're great at it, right? It's all a learning lesson. Right. Get in there, do it. Like I said, just F some stuff up, do what you got to do, and keep moving. Learn the lessons and keep moving. Because for me, that could probably be my personal mantra: get in there and F it up till you get it right. I've done it, and that's what you got to do. You just got to keep the blinders on and stay consistent, no matter what it is that's starting to come in and sidestep you. Stop, straighten up those blinders and keep them on, stay consistent, and you'll start to see those results.
And that goes back to the entrepreneurial nervous system. Who is that person talking and doing the thinking? Is it the student? Is it the OJTer? Or is it the entrepreneur?
Yeah.
And so when we put the entrepreneurial hat on, we are able to get ourselves out there. We are able to fuck it up. But when it's the student, well, I'm learning. When it's the OJTer, well, it has to be right. It has to be perfect because I'm practicing and I'm not good enough and I'm not ready enough and I don't know enough. And it's the not enoughness that continues to get in the way. And that's why you see people, they have done everything under the sun and they have nothing to show for because it's always the student or the practitioner showing up.
Yeah. That's where they stay stuck.
Yeah, not the entrepreneur. Now, there's another phase to that, right? That they're stuck. But what is the reason that they're stuck? Right? And so that goes to the root of that problem. As women, and this goes to men too, but I feel like men tend to have a little bit more confidence when it comes to they're more driven by their ego than anything else. And just that one hormone, testosterone, that they can regenerate every 15 minutes. And versus to us, it's just, it gets a little bit more complicated. It's not just one thing. And for us is we have to be seen in order to people to do networking and for people to know what we're doing and for people to understand what kind of things we can help them with. We have to be able to express and articulate what we do with our full voice, right? Not, well, I'm just a transactional coordinator. No, I am a transactional coordinator and I can close all your motherfucking deals.
Whew, Angel. That's how you need to.
But we are taught that, well, you can't outshine anybody else. Mm-hmm. You cannot be seen in that light. Yeah. So these are all rules, right? When we grew up, that we were supposed to abide by. And those rules, how we grow up, it bleeds into every aspect of our life. And I don't give a fuck what people say. Well, it doesn't matter. You can just blah, blah, blah. You can never outthink. You will never willpower any of these thoughts and feelings until you work on them, clear them, and remove them from the root. You can discipline yourself all you want. You can willpower yourself all you want. You can think positive all you want. You can repeat affirmations until you blue in the face. Here's the thing. Only 20% of our nervous system goes from the head to the body. 80% is from the body to the head. So tell me what's going to win.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So they have to get cleared.
Well, and you do. And then part of that is taking control of your own mind again and not letting those
yes.
Those
and
things
how do you take control of your mind?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, sorry.
How do you take control of your mind?
Oh, wow. It was a process for me. I mean, I had a lot of clearing to do. I mean, those of you who know me know I, moved myself out of a situation a couple of years ago, and it had a lot of things that put me. I had a lot of bad perceptions of things. We'll say that, and it took me a lot of time to work through those. People would trigger me in certain ways. I had to work through those triggers. Why did what Agnes just said to me trigger me? Yes. Why did it tick me off? Why did it make me feel this kind of way? So I spent a long time. This is not something, just to say, guys, it's not something you do overnight. It's taken months and months of actively listening to my body, what my body would tell my mind, and getting to the root of why it triggered me in a certain way. So, after months of doing that, my mind is, I am in total control of my mind. And that's why when I do practice manifestations, or I do practice positive affirmations, they tend to come to fruition because those blocks are gone now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you hit the nail on the head when you said started to listening to my body.
Mm-hmm.
And what we tend to do is try to shut down the body, try to shut down those feelings and just work from here.
Yeah.
Well, there's only 20%. Like, how effective do you think you're going to be?
Mm-hmm.
You're not. Why are you shutting down the strongest faculties, your creativity, your intuition? You're shutting it all down when you're just trying to work from the head up. And so these are all things we were, Carlin and I were talking about this yesterday. And people are like, well, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel it. And you try to shut it down and stuff it and stuff it and stuff it, right? But here's the thing. You have to do the deeper work and clear it. And sometimes people think, well, I'm hustling and I'm grinding and I'm, keep going and get up at 3:00 and don't go to bed until the sun comes back out. Well, that's great. You're spinning your wheels like a maniac. How effective are you actually being? Are you moving the needle? Yes, you're busy. Yes, you're doing things. Are those things moving the needle towards your business, towards what you want?
Well, one of the greatest things about that, Agnes, is as you learn to understand your body and what it's telling you, you start to move differently. Yeah. I mean, I can one friend specifically I can think of, we could be in the middle of a conversation and I'm like, I feel something. There's something, I feel something bad coming, or, whatever, because my body immediately tells me when energy is starting, bad energy is coming toward me. Yep. And I will be like, I don't know what it is yet. I gotta stop for a minute and figure it out. But your body will start to tell you those things.
Yes. And what happens when you go against that?
Oh my gosh. Then it becomes a mind game when it does come. Right now I'm in like, oh shit mode, because I didn't heed the warning of my body and now it's caught me off guard. So the more of the humanistic side comes out of me, like, oh, how am I going to do now? Now I'm in a mess trying to figure out how I'm going to fix this or prevent it or whatever the case is. Whereas before, the minute I feel it, I'm like, okay, I got to step away for a second. Let me just listen to my body, wait for a download or something. Something's coming here and I need to know what it is. And, that works for me. Sometimes I still get caught off guard, but I know, whether I take care of it, because, I have moments when I don't, I feel it's coming and I just don't take care of it. So then it hits me. But most of the time I'll listen to my body and just try to step away for a minute and collect my thoughts and meditate for a minute and try to figure out what it is. How do I need to pivot? Because a lot of times that comes in business. Sometimes I want to do things that aren't good for me, even in business, and the moment I get that feeling like, this is probably not a direction I want to go, even if it's something I wanted to do, if I get that feeling, I'm like, I go with my gut always.
Yeah.
It's almost like a tsunami. Like you can see the tide rolling back and you can either be that person that's like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Or you can see the tide rolling back and be like,
run.
I should get out of here. And I think when you learn that the tide's rolling back, you need to go. That's kind of like the same concept as being an entrepreneur. Okay, something doesn't feel right in this space. So instead of standing here and trying to investigate what's going to happen, I'm going to listen to my body and get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit before on a previous episode, but not this deep as to why that happens. But we talked about before, I have a fantastic cutoff game. But that's the reason why. My body will tell me when I need to cut somebody or something out, and I'll do it. I'm not going to argue with it because I've learned over time, if it's telling me to cut it, I've got to cut it.
Yeah. For me, when I don't listen, I call it the luminic slap in the face from the universe. Boom. That's what you get for not listening. And I'm like, damn it. I knew I had no business doing that. And you just have to listen. And even sometimes you're like, well, wait a minute, but everybody's is going with it. Everybody think it's great. And you're like, nope, it's not.
Not
And you're
for
like,
me.
okay, maybe I'm wrong. And you go with it. And then that's when you realize, oh yeah, I should have never done that. And that has happened a few times. And I've learned, like,
it has to happen a few times for you to actually be able to be like, oh, nope.
yep.
And I want to be clear when I'm talking about this, it's not like, I don't want anybody to mistake. It's not like either listening to your heart or your mind. I'm not talking about that. Like relationships, I like this person or I shouldn't. That's not what I'm talking about. You will feel it when you've cleared all those things that you need to clear. You will feel it in the pit of your stomach. Your gut will tell you these things. It's not really like a mind-heart game thing. It's not.
Right.
That's not what I'm intending to say.
And it is a very thin
Intuitively learning.
line.
Yeah, it's intuitively learning.
Yeah.
The signals from your own body.
Yeah.
It's like
it's a very thin blur line between your intuition and your ego.
Yes.
Because a lot of people think, well, I hear it loud. Well, intuition does not work that way.
That's
intuition whispers. Intuition is like, you know what I mean? So you have to be in tune with yourself and your body so you can make that distinction. Is it intuition or is it ego?
So here's what I want to ask for the three of us. I feel like for the most part, I've got a pretty good feeling like, oh, okay, this doesn't feel right. I need to go. But a lot of people don't hear those whispers. A lot of people hear the screaming in the ego. How are they supposed to differentiate between the two of those?
That's a great question.
For me, it's very subtle. If it feels almost as if you hear another person, or like another person is touching you, or it's loud, or it's nagging, it's not. It's, for me at least, it's very subtle. It's very soft. I don't know, how is it for you, Angel?
It is different, but just to address the first question that you asked was, I didn't really understand that feeling at first, because it became stronger as I learned to cut the cords. So for me, it was going through months of recognizing and stopping when I was triggered. Somebody triggered me. They did something, said something, whatever that kind of triggered me. I would really stop and meditate on that and work through that and figure out why that triggered me. Okay. Because you have to know why to be able to resolve it. Right. Yeah. So it was a long process of that. As I started to do that, I could feel it. Like I said, for me, it's in my gut. Okay. I could be having the greatest time of my life, doing anything, but that feeling will hit my gut. And I'm like, okay, there's something I need to take care of right now. There's something I need to be aware of. What is it? And I have to stop and kind of meditate and figure out what it is. Is it person? Is it place? Is it thing? Am I in the, just like she said, sometimes you start to feel, because we are energy. So when you are operating on a higher frequency and you walk into a room where there's a really low frequency, it hits you like a wall. Yeah. You immediately know, like, it zaps my energy. Totally zaps. I've been on a Zoom before where somebody stepped in and started talking. And when that person started talking, I checked out. I had to check out. I mean, not physically leave, but mentally, I knew there was a block there. Okay. So it really was just months of going through and understanding what my body was trying to tell me as I was triggered, working through that.
Sometimes you don't need to know why. Sometimes you just have to listen to that. The why will come later.
That's true.
But the main thing is to listen to that hunch, or whatever you call it. I don't know. In that moment, and then take a step back and remove yourself. The why will reveal itself later. And true. So for me, I don't meditate on it. I feel it, I hear it, or I see it. I don't have to meditate. I just know it. And if it's for somebody else, I'm like, hey, be careful with situation, person, whatever the case may be, right? And this happened at the very beginning with my husband. I said, hey, be careful with this. He's like, why? And I wouldn't know why. And he's like, well, you always think blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it's not that I'm thinking blah, blah, blah. You just do whatever you want with it, right? And then he would like kind of dismiss it. And like not even 2 months later, he's like, how did you know? I'm like, I don't know. It's just one of those things that you know that you know. You don't know how you know, but you fucking know. And that's what matters.
Yes.
And it's not that anybody, I mean, I know sometimes people get a little leery of like woo-woo stuff, but it's not that anybody's psychic or anything, you guys.
No, actually, we are all psychic.
It's your own intuition.
We are all psychic.
Yeah,
we
do
all
have
the ability.
But I don't want people to think that's what this is. It's not. We're not saying
no.
that, you know, you just learn to understand the nudges that your body and your energy give you, simply put. Yeah.
If we weren't meant to have it, we wouldn't be born with it. It's like everybody has the ability to play the piano, to be a great football player, but there are some people that are more gifted.
Yes.
They're naturally gifted. And so that's how some of us are. Yeah. Woman's intuition.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so some of us is like, oh yeah, this works for me, so I'm going to lean on it. Other people are like, that's weird. But I love all weird shit, so I don't care. Like, it works for me. Whatever float your boat, you know?
You know, it's intuition, energy, all those things. Guys, they're just like anything else. You have to understand, you have to work to understand it. You have to learn. You have to be consistent with it. Just like I said, it took me months of going through understanding why I was being triggered by certain things, all those good things. You have, it's a process too. So, you know, it's something that you just have to work at and be consistent with, like anything else you do in your life, and learn the lessons along the way.
Yeah. And also to the people that are more leaning more towards religion, they would probably call it God's whisper. Take it as you please, but it is. Think about it. If I don't want to get too much into this soapbox, but I'm going to get on it, dab a little bit. If we are made, right? I don't read the Bible. I'm not a religious person. But if we are made to his image, right? Then does it not mean that we are like him and he is like us? So therefore we're a manifestation of him. So it's the God in me. That's how I see it. But each person have their own views. For me, God is not somewhere, something somewhere up there somewhere. It's here. It's within me.
Yep.
And that's how it has worked for me, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, I definitely won't go down that road, but I could definitely take you through many scriptures in the Bible where Jesus specifically spoke. And if you just take a look at it a different way, a lot of that has to come back to energy.
Yes, everything.
So, you know, everyone has, like I said, everyone has their own beliefs, but even all beliefs, you know, even you go into simple things like you reap what you sow, Christian belief, karma, different religious belief, but it's all the same thing, right?
Exactly.
So all societies have a lot of the same beliefs, different practices, humanistic practices over the years that formed those secular religions. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Your emotions are telling your logical brain where you need to pay attention, what you need to deal with. Absolutely. But that's again, a learned behavior. You have to learn to listen to your body.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing, in my opinion, in my belief, right? But everyone have their own thing, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you have to say, Carlin? What are your thoughts on this?
She's just taking it all in.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of it in because I resonate with a lot of what both of you are saying. For me, that voice, that feeling, that intuition, I personally am Christian. And so the way I see it is if it's screaming, it's not God speaking to you.
Right.
Mhm.
If it's screaming, I mean, we're in book club, we're getting ready to start Outwitting the Devil. I've gone through that book a dozen times at this point. And the way that the devil conveys, he's like, I take control of the absence in your mind. And that's the way I feel with intuition. There's no absence in my mind. If my intuition is speaking, it's silent. It's like taking a nap on the couch and someone's tickling your nose with a feather. Like that's what intuition feels like to me. It's just this small little feeling where you're like, oh, I gotta sneeze. Like it's subtle, it's quiet, and when it's there, it's the sneeze, it's the punch. Like it's coming out now. And so it's just interesting hearing the way you two are communicating, because I'm kind of on both sides of it. I can feel it physically in my body. Like it's in the core. Like I remember in high school, my brother had this party going, and I'm not really much of a party person. I'm the designated driver usually. I show up to make sure you get home safe. But there's just something in my gut. That night I was staying at the house and I was just kind of hanging out, watching the way people are interacting. It's a good time. The energy's great. Everybody's happy. Everybody's safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone walked in the door and the hairs on my body stood up. And I was just like,
Yeah.
nope. Anyone who needs a ride, I'm leaving now. If you need a ride, if you need to get home safe, I'm going. Later that night, I found out that guy had a obscene amount of illegal substances. He had just left the point of a robbery and was coming to the place that was supposed to be a safe and contained environment. And just it's the energy transference. You feel it. You're like, oh, nope, this is not right. I shouldn't be here. This is not okay. I got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Immediately. And it's just interesting, like those subtle little cues a lot of us don't really take. It's like, oh, it just got a little chilly. No, it didn't just get a little chilly.
Everybody has those, Carlin. The problem is kind of back to Agnes, what Agnes said earlier, is you get so caught up in your day to day, especially if you are on that entrepreneurial journey. Your days can be crazy. You know, you can go 12, 14, 16 hours a day sometimes, nonstop. So your mind is so clouded that all that stuff stays suppressed. So, you know, as you learn and grow and all that into this type of thing, you start to hear those whispers from your body that you just didn't pay attention. And it's not that you've never had them. You have them. Everybody has them all the time. You're just not in a position where you're listening.
So how does tell me, you guys, how do these feelings, how do you believe they correlate with being an entrepreneur? Like, what are some things that have taken in both of you guys' journey where you hear those whispers? Like, how does that correlate with business?
For me, there has been many times that, and this may or may not have to do with business, have been many times that I have picked up the phone to check on somebody.
Yesterday.
And they are like, this is what I needed. This conversation is the conversation that I needed. This is, thank you because you saved me from feeling this way or doing this thing or whatever the case may be. So for me, I know, okay, I should speak on this or I should address this. When I am with my clients, oftentimes because they get in the habit of shutting down their body and their feelings, they don't know what to feel. They don't know how to feel. And I hear things and I see things, I channel things. And I said, reject this if it doesn't feel correct. But I'm feeling this, that, and the third, right? For example, I feel a knot on my throat. I feel like I'm choking. I feel like a volcano is about to explode and erupt in sobbing, not just crying, but sobbing. And my client went, just bust out crying and said, that is exactly what I feel. But because they are stuffing their feelings for so long, they don't have the words to articulate. They can't. They want to, but they can't. And I feel that's where I use my intuition to guide them on the healing journey. And that's what stands me out from everyone else. It's not just mindset. You could do mindset all you want, but if you're not accessing those feelings and those emotions, you're going to get burned out. And since we're talking about entrepreneurial things, the energy that you start your business with is the energy that is going to carry it out throughout your business. So do you want that kind of energy, that kind of stress response, that kind of like freaking out constantly to be linked to your business? Because it won't be pleasant. You're going to hate every fucking minute of it. And guess what? That money becomes toxic money. And when we have toxic money, we'll get rid of it like nobody's business. Unconsciously.
That's a great point.
And situations will come that you're like, well, the car broke. I don't know what the fuck happened. Everything was perfectly fine. Situations will come because those situations are manifesting because how you're feeling is manifesting those situations. It's not the other way around. It's not my car broke, now I feel this way. No, you felt that way. You manifested that accident. And so for me, that's a huge, huge thing. It's not enough to just know it. It's, people said, well, I'm aware of it. Well, that's great that you're aware of it. Awareness for me is like knowledge. When people say knowledge is power. Is it? Really? Knowledge is. What we do with our knowledge, how we decide to apply that knowledge is what gives it power or not. So yeah, great. You have awareness. Now what? It's not going to change how you feel. What are you going to do about it?
You know, just to say to that too, it's really important as someone starts to learn to go through the steps of learning their body and releasing things. You've got to be really careful. We were kind of talking about intuition and whether it's loud or it's soft. Mm-hmm. It's different for everybody. So don't box it. First, I want to say that. But be very careful, especially if you're a work in progress, that as you feel or start to hear these things, that you don't let your mind trick you that it's fear. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll think you're being nudged, but really you're not. It's just your own fear that's stopping you. So you've got to be really cognizant of that. You have to be. That's why it's so important to learn your body, because you have to know what those nudges mean.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't, because your mind will always win in that fight. If you don't intuitively know that, if, like she said, if I'm feeling it here, what those things mean to you personally, because we're all different. We're all going to feel things in different places and with different intensity. A lot of times it'll be your mind that's letting the fear overtake that. So you think you're making a good decision because you felt it. I felt like this was the right decision, but really it was your own ego stepping in and not allowing you to push through the fear. So that's something to be mindful of as you go through this journey, is understanding that fear is a trigger for me. And that's why I'm speaking on that, because it's personally one of the things that I did. I mean, a year ago, I would have never sat on here and had this conversation like this and not, broken out in sweat under my arms and freaking out, all that stuff, because I hated to be in front of the camera. So like fear was a really big one for me. And it took me a long time to understand when my ego was trying to stop me versus what my body was telling me was good or bad.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Fear and excitement can feel very, very much the same.
yes.
So if you are not in contact with your body, you're not in tune with your body, you may confuse the two of them thinking, well, I didn't do it because I'm scared, when in reality, you were just fucking overly excited. And you missed the boat.
That's a great point. Absolutely.
So it's that, again, it's that fine line that we have to be in tune with ourselves. And we're so busy that we just don't have the time. Who have time to feel bad and sob because the business is low, because the business is not, taking off, because I'm just grinding all the time? What good is it going to do if I feel those feelings? Well, yeah, what good is it going to do if you continue to stuff them down and think that you have to grind and go on? You won't. So you might as well feel that shit, voice that motherfucking shit, because that's got to come out of one hole. It would either come out of this hole or your asshole, but it got to come out of a hole. Trust me. And so if you don't, and you try to stuff it, and then you're like, I'm getting sick, I don't feel right. Guess what is a disease? Dis-ease, a lack of ease in the body. And whatever we don't express and we contain, we don't listen to our body, the body's going to give us a chance. But it's going to come to the point that the body's going to say, bitch, we're not moving no more. Now you're going to listen to me. And guess how? The saddest thing is that we don't listen when the body gives us signals. But then when the body puts us down, we're like, oh, well, I hope I feel better. Well, you should have listened to your motherfucking body when it was telling you, but you were so busy because you had to grind and you had to hustle and you had to, the testosterone. I got to get moving. You know what I mean? It's like when the body puts you down, it will put you down for a long time. You don't get a say-so of when you get to get up. And you're like, well, but the sky is the limit. There's no limit. The mind is the limit. Yeah, but this is matter. Yeah. And matter have limitations. That's my soapbox on that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I've had, times definitely throughout my journey where, and it always happens. I mean, I know myself well enough to know this now. It always happens when I'm in avoidance mode. I'll avoid certain feelings or doing something for a while, and eventually my body just stops. And I have to recuperate physically because I've stopped dealing with whatever that feeling is.
Yes. And actually, that's something that I was talking to Carlin yesterday. The fight or flight response, people think it's just fight or flight. No, there's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So it's kind of like the stages of grief. You know how the stages of grief it's kind of like, all the way around. It's the same thing with the fight or flight. One incident can take you to all those different stages at different points and times of your life. And so each of those stages will create an emotion, a feeling, procrastinating, avoiding, freezing. I'm busy doing something, cleaning the house, acting like you're busy because, well, I don't have time because I got to feed the kids and I got to clean the house and I got to do this thing. So I didn't have the time. Or I'm going to work on my website. That's a big one. I'm going to work on my website. Okay. And if people don't know about your website, they're not going to come to do anything because they don't know that you have a website. They don't even know that you have a fucking business. So first of all, you got to be seen and heard for the people to know that you're actually doing this thing, whatever the thing is. Then concern yourself about business cards, websites, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But people get so wrapped up into all of those things that they think that that's what they have to do.
And that is truly avoidance.
Correct.
You're either avoiding the fear of success, working through that, or you're overwhelmed and you just don't know what step to take so you just stop instead of just taking a step.
And collapse. Or it's
yeah.
too much. I don't know where to go. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys. We've only got a couple minutes left, but how are people supposed to start taking these steps? If this is something that is a learned behavior, where are they supposed to start learning these behaviors? How are they supposed to start making these changes?
I know Agnes, I'll let you end, Agnes, because she's the true coach in this. So she's probably got a lot more insight than I do. But for me, it's take it one day at a time and just stop. Guys, your body is telling you all the time. You could be standing there washing dishes. You could be doing anything. Your body is always communicating with you. So stop. When you feel a nudge, when you feel a thought, just a simple thought, stop and really work through that right then and there. Why did I think about this? I know a lot of people are into synchronicities and things like that. If you see 11:11 on the clock, stop for a minute. Is that relevant to you? What were you thinking about at that moment? Mm-hmm. Really just take it day by day. I mean, you just have to listen. You have to listen. That to me is the first and the biggest step that you're going to take is listening to your body every day. Your mind, if you're hearing little things, getting just those intuitive nudges, stop and ask why. Ask why. Say it out loud. Why am I feeling like this? Why did I think about that? Mm-hmm. Because there's something there that needs to be resolved. Absolutely. So just listen. That if I could say, that's the first step of your journey. Listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to those, whispers, those intuitive nudges that you get, and take a moment to recognize them and figure out why you were feeling that way or why you had that thought. Because the more you do that, you're going to start to chop away at a lot of junk that you need to clear, just a lot of junk. And before you know it, you'll find yourself really now, oh, wait a minute. It's definitely more clear to me that I need to stop and deal with this right now.
Absolutely.
So by doing that, you just gain clarity as you go.
Absolutely. And that's absolutely true, right? For me, I take my clients into a deep journey. Into a deep journey to find the root, to make the connections, to see how this one thing is affecting every aspect of their life. And so for them to know that, to be back in their body, I give them different exercises as homework. That is a huge thing. They have to be in tune, but I take them deep and make the connections that they would have not made the connections. Even just on a simple conversation, but I have them on the process and see how it's all affecting them. Now, I know you said that we don't have much time, Carlin, and I didn't ask if I could do this or not. So I guess if I cannot, I will apologize rather than ask for permission. I have a hypnotherapy trance that I would like to gift to the people that are on this Zoom or podcast. I'm not sure what do we call it. So go follow my page, Facebook or Instagram at Agnes Legacy 077. Send me a message with your email. Make sure you like my page. Send me a message with your email and I will send you the audio. I cannot post it because it's like a 25-minute audio, but it's for the people that want to be in business. And I think it's a great hypnotherapy trance for the people that want to be in business. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So I have to send it to y'all guys. So go like my page, follow me, message me, please, so that I send it to you. If you don't message me, then I won't know. Message me with your email and I will send that hypnotherapy for you. It's about 25 minutes. It's great.
Okay, so let me back up for a second. So the best way to reach out to you is going to be through Instagram.
Instagram or Facebook.
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Angel, you're in the TC space. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Same way. You reach out to me, Facebook or Instagram. Okay. Either one. You can find me. I'm definitely there.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for you two coming on. Thank you guys so
thanks for having us.
much.
I had a great
time. So much fun. Okay, so Facebook or Instagram for either of these ladies.
Yes.
And guys, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you
Yeah.
for reaching out and sharing your knowledge and being.
Well, thank you, Facebook user.
I know, right? Who's the name? Say the
Thank
name.
Okay. So
Until next time.
until next time, thank you guys.
Thank